Hi everyone, this professional high priestess. I'm here just to do a quick channel message for the community at large. And I know a lot of people are going to be using this for legal purposes, so I need to make sure I got on here and did this. Please excuse me, I've been working on other things, so I have not been as active. I just first want to say that I have put out some new tools for the community. Some of you guys already got my email. Some of you guys are waiting for the Mayan the upgrade to the Western astrology via the Mayan Pachachua. That's on its way. I'm just trying to figure out, like, trying to see what medium I want to go ahead and put them through. This is one I did in paint medium, but there's a few more that I have to put out, and I'm just trying to figure out what medium. So that's what's happening now. And then on top of that, I have another book coming on the upgrade to the anatomy. So drawing out by hand each of the anatomical systems that we have that you've never seen in any of the books, how they function, how they work, the chemicals they respond to, the zodiac signs, etc., on all that. And that's kind of what I've been downloading. But people needed this information, so I just wanted to come and give this to folks who are going to be using this in the near future regarding Sevan Bomar. Some of you guys have already heard me talk about him on my channel. Some of you guys know what's going on behind the scenes currently right now with him. So about Sevan Bomar, he has this channel called Understanding, or aka Astral Quest, Secret Energy. Those are all his sites, so that you guys know how to properly identify him against other seven, quote unquote, Sevan Bomar, James Bomar, whatever. His name is James Bomar. So he's been in the music industry for a while. I knows a bunch of people. And what happened with Sevan is he left the United States and went to Costa Rica and started to be very spiritual and having retreats and doing this and this and that, because he left the States because he got involved in fraud, murder, a whole bunch of stuff. The body that he's connected to just popped up in Atlanta. His last place of residence when he was here in the United States is Atlanta. He knows Future, all the celebrities, etc. If you go on his comments and his page or who he follows, he has celebrities following him and stuff like that, and rappers and things like that, because of what he used to do, which is rituals for them, playing with spell work, scams, etc. with the computer, because he's a hacker. So what happened with Sevan Bomar is you guys see a lot of the information that he's posting now. That's all for me and my twin, because he put both of us in virtual reality, and he's been like doing spell work on me for years, energy harvesting, spying, da 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 da. But the funny thing is, if you listen to Sevan, he doesn't make any sense. He hypes people up, but he doesn't like have any follow through. He doesn't actually have any experience. He's not a custodian of the spiritual realm. He's not an enforcer. He doesn't have those akasha. He won't talk about that, and he won't show you his skill set because he has none. He talks about science, math, coding, but he's not doing any of that. All the code that he has is like what they have called APIs or SDKs, where you can go on different like Reddits and forums and blogs and just get that code for free and spice it up however you want it. A lot of it's used for hacking and following people and doing this and this and that, but that's where they're getting all this code and all this other stuff. So this is where you see him getting all this information, and then those photos that he's posting up to, talking about, oh, this is I'm making neural networks off of occult images. That's just Lensa. It's an alien technology where they go to people's planets, take photos, a bunch of stuff, and then you upload your photo, do this and this and that. It's just another way that they're training their AI, capturing people's images, because they have this technology in space. If I have your face and your image, I can find all your bodies and all your descendants and all your ancestors. And because some of you guys don't know this, but our ancestors, they pass, our people, they pass that we're related to, and they don't go to the ancestral realm for a really long time. Some of them become ancestors when they're still alive, based on their ancestral cycle, based on their structure, which I'm not going to talk too much about, which they have no knowledge of, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, he put this now online. Where's he getting all this, all these photos, all this stuff? He works with a group of people that run like the Met Gala, that are the uh, donate to these different aquariums and museums and libraries and shit like that. They have a bunch of money. They're like what they call the elite. So he's on here talking about Skynet and this and that and the elite and spiritual warfare, but he's working with these people. He's very delusional and chaotic and disgusting. As we speak, he's has several cases like against him for what he did in the States. They just found him because of this virtual reality thing that they started. Future brought him in. And I know somebody that I grew up with in my childhood that's the person that showed me his page, and he brought him in. So it's not like I don't know this person, or that we don't have access to him, or that he has not like that he does not have awareness of me through other people that I know and that he also knows. Sorry, that's what I wanted to say. So this is what's been going on for a long time, and he's having a hard time trying to propagate this information out to the community because there's spells all around it. And because he's not a builder, he's not an architect, he's not a master teacher, he has no teaching akasha, he has none of that. He just talks. And this is where another thing that happened is he got straight exposed in all of that virtual reality simulation that has happened. And because people got pulled up in there, celebrities and everyone that they were doing spell work on got pulled into that vortex, because they put us like in the same jar and shit like that with other people that they were playing with. Everyone saw him, and people were like, I remember him. He has a case. My friend went missing around him. My backup dancer went missing around him. And that's what's going on right now. And he's been playing games with me for a long time. He's done like really a lot. He's very ignorant. And when people saw him acting like out like that, that's when the shit got started in the spiritual community because people started talking about him, emailing about it, etc. And they can't deny it because this is what they all talk about all day, right? Cyber warfare and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Uploading people to virtual reality, hacking people, starting shit, playing with spy magic, putting their account handles and candle spells and rituals, all that type of stuff, right? But he's not a real Mason. He's not a real teacher. He doesn't have that Akasha. He's not a real leader. He doesn't have a twin. He doesn't have a maid. And he's facilitated several rituals. He has to get off that land in Costa Rica because the real owners came back. And then on top of that, they came back because they got notified that the plot of land that they had paid for that came up in the Costa Rican government, their legislature or whatever, their database, there was 38 bodies that were exhumed there. And this is all public record, right? So what's happening now is because that happened, those people got notified and they were going to extradite the owners, and they're like, we're not there. And they came back and they found 7 years to get off that land. So there's going to be a lot of changes, and that's why he's always this project and that project, and he doesn't have any follow through. This nigga's 43 years old, playing on the internet, playing spiritual, and playing with like rituals, starting stuff, pedophilia, doing too much racism, white supremacy, clout chasing, all of that. Yeah, because you guys remember that with this whole virtual reality thing, who's the one that started it? It was Alex Dasser from Palantir. It was Peter Thiel. It was Elon Musk, all of them. And he was in there trying to make deals with them. And I'll code for you, and I'll do this, and I'll do that. He's the one that started this. All that Pegasus, all that Hermit, all that, what's that thing called? Predator, Hermit, Pegasus, Trojan, all those different like technologies that people are talking about. What hacks? They all started that playing those games because he thought he was going to become some like tech guru and like Morpheus from the Matrix and starting shit. And one of the things that's very like telling here is how he ended up leaving the States to go to Costa Rica and start all this bullshit. And this is how he ends up getting exposed. That's like, oh, I'm on the line spiritual and complaining about like people are not helping, people are not doing this. I'm not making sales because you're doing death rituals on indigenous women out there in Costa Rica. And like causing hella drama and chaos. And it's a big thing in Costa Rica now, a bunch of women going missing, and his name is being called up. He has been in jail. Yeah. And he's very fucking delusional. He's very out of control. He's very disgusting. And he has a lot of scorpionic energy in his chart. So you know he's out of control. And I looked up his chart. You don't have that because he doesn't have a custodian chart at all. He has a lot of Libra and a lot of Scorpio. He's very out of balance. And for him to be sitting up here playing spiritual online, trying to get clout and stuff like that. And the one thing about if you're really like a scientist and then you're spiritual too, because he's not no scientist, because he doesn't have the knowledge. Come and tell him to come and write a speech. What do these number sequences mean? What's this about this geometry? What do you know besides what you stole? Show us what you didn't take from Imhotep, or didn't get from those white aliens who give him that information and that knowledge. Not they steal from space, and that got all taken back, which is why the spiritual community is quiet right now. Because who got their upgrade, right? He's gonna have to answer all that for you guys, and I know you guys wanted to use this for court, so this is gonna be very telling because this is gonna show this. A lot of the celebrities have been waiting for this because of what Sevan started, how he was pulled in by other celebrities to start a bunch of bullshit, how he was involved in hacking or laundering or doing a whole bunch of nonsense, or how he stalked or harassed them online, gang stalked them, targeted them a bunch of stuff. And keep in mind, this nigga is 5'8", and I'm 6'2", and he's playing like this, and I'm just like, are you stupid? Like, are you dumb? Like, what? And he's playing with my twin, and my twin is like 7 feet fucking tall. And we're both high priestesses, and we're Kemetans. And like, he's like playing like this to like get clout on the internet and like starting a bunch of shit, people dying, coming up missing, like a whole bunch of nonsense going on. And him not talking about that, right? And like, oh yeah, like, right. What's your process? Where's the Akasha? Can't even talk about that. So the proof is in the pudding. And the upgrades and the lack thereof is going to tell more than I can ever tell. So you guys, I hope you guys use this for your court cases. I hope this really helps. There's a lot going on. Definitely the virtual reality simulation can be used in court against him. What they did with all that technology definitely can be used. This video can definitely be used. A lot of the law enforcement, they already knew. They are here watching, and they're going to be going ahead and using this against him because how did we know, right? Not the consulate, but the prime minister for Costa Rica has also been alerted and is also involved in a lot of this. It's a lot going on, and he's gonna act like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And ask that dude Luis, or he was playing with Luis and Emily Bengo. I don't know any of them because I don't tap into that network, but I just know Emily from a while ago because the person that I know in real life that knows Sevan introduced me to her, and she's very delusional too. She's a racist. Their whole ranks. A lot of people have left to stop playing with him. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. They're not doing much. Right? He can't get you anywhere. Talking about sovereign and self and meditating, but then turning and doing rituals. That's very, very chaotic. That's very delusional, and that's very like fraudulent. And one of the things here too is you can play and play and play, but time will tell all. And that's what's happening now in the spiritual community. There's a lot of people. One thing that you should just know, my thing is also if you're smart, one thing that you should know is certain things don't go together, right? Like you're not gonna mix clear liquor and dark liquor unless you really want to get buck and wild. You're not gonna mix like a certain if you want to get home safely, you're not gonna mix a whole bunch of hash or hashish with your blunt, stuff like that. You're not gonna like do certain things like this. These motherfuckers come in here and are ratchet in the background, do all kinds of stuff sexually, hella out of pocket, very disrespectful, frauds, don't really study and take from other people and do a bunch of bullshit. And then they think that then they're gonna have like, oh, I'm a teacher, I'm a guru, believe me, listen to me. That time has come to an end. It's done, it's over. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of talk. I want to say like talk like gossip. There's a lot of organizing behind the scenes because of people that were scammed or people that got involved in bullshit or people that were doing that ayahuasca nonsense. And I'm gonna say this: I'm a high priestess. I don't knock anybody that's ever taken psychedelics, but he takes ayahuasca often. He microdoses every day. I don't need ayahuasca. I don't need any actual substance to get buck or to divinate or to get knowledge or information. That's all crazy. I can actually just go to my plant and read my plant, and then that's the information that I need to know. And then people will come on here and then talk for like 3 hours about something my plants will be in 2 seconds, right? Or people are ingesting these plants and then they're getting Kundalini syndrome or losing their mind or getting hijacked as they go into those planes where they're going into people's planets and starting shit because a lot of these plants come from different planets of high priests and high priestess, and you're taking these plants or the speech of other plants, which they don't even know what that is, right? Because go look at that chemistry book, okay? They're putting the speech of other psychedelics on top of the psychedelic you're taking, and then your mind is getting like blown apart. And that's what's currently going on right now too. But there's karma behind all that, like going into the garden and misusing tools of the garden. That's why a lot of people are blocked right now because they misuse tools of the garden. And that was one of the first, thank us. You guys know the Buddhist hieroglyphs. I read them on my Patreon and stuff like that. And we'll bring that back up again. That's what one of the things was saying is when you go into the garden or when you want to play with the high priest or high priestess and you know you're not one and you don't want to admit that you're not one, this is the demon that you want to incur upon you. So a lot of these people are going to have to keep it real. Are you going to poison everyone with this mental demon that's coming upon you or that's running you because you want to cloud chase and start shit? Or are you going to go sit down and not let people get infected and go clean up your akasha or go disappear, period? That's the conversation that people need to have with themselves right now. So I didn't have to do any of that. And that's how I get my downloads and stuff like that. I didn't have to play in anyone's energy, not a single ritual sacrifice, not a single any of that. That's hella crazy to me. It's free. The energy is free. It's natural. If you can't tap in, that means that you're not fucking with the universal source. And he's not at all. And that's the biggest thing. People are going to have to prove what's your universal Elan? What's your universal source? How can you connect? How do you tap in? How do you get into those other bodies? What is your other body? How do you like visualize that? How do you tap in? How do you speak the hyperdimensional language that runs these bodies? What's the speech? What's the name of the high priest or high priestess? You can't even say that. But let's just keep it real. And you guys need to be careful playing games in this spiritual community because there's a reason why I would listen to him from time to time, but I was like, the energy sounds hella chaotic. Experience is a really great teacher. So I have experience on the ground going through those political realms, dealing with the reptilian there, dealing with the schizophrenic eidolons, which is what he is. That's what he's just talking about white people. Because he saw what the aliens did and what the white folks did, and it was like, oh, really? Yeah, this is how it goes down. Yeah, but he's one of them, right? Dealing with the witches, that Baba Yaga fuckery, right? The dark karmic archetype, dealing with all that bullshit, the period blood bandits, dealing with the dark masculine archetype, dealing with all that fuckery and nonsense, and still like, okay, and what's next? Right? And then going on other people's planets, helping them revive their planets, backing up their planets to their cloud, which is like stored here in my consciousness and doing a whole bunch of stuff that he can't even explain and can't even draw out and can't even tell you where he got the information from or who's the high priest or how did you get ordained and what's the name of the planet? What does it even look like? They can't even tell you none of that stuff. So you guys need to be careful. This is the next level. And that's okay. Some of you guys are going to learn to be like, okay, I know how to navigate. Some of you guys are just going to like fall off. But what will not happen is you guys coming into this space as karmics, trying to take this next level and play with this next level and start shit. And it's just going to turn into more mess and drama. And eventually you will always have to deal with that, which is a lot of what's happening right now in space, which is why he's getting exposed. All the fake ass masculines and karmic females and all that, fake high priest, fake high priestess, all that bullshit, it's getting exposed right now. People that have been playing games with magic, starting a bunch of bullshit, having children all over the place, hiding them with invisibility spells and hiding whole planets and hiding Akasha and doing this and doing that. It's all getting exposed. So it's trickling down to planet Earth and people getting exposed and removed, period. That's why you see all these terror hosts, they're quiet and they're gone because a lot of them are charged. A lot of them are in jail, right? A lot of them are on the run. A lot of them, like, they can't really be publicly on YouTube because people want their head. There's a lot of bullshit going on right now. And it's because playing this high priest and this fake ass priestcraft that they created on this planet is getting dismantled. And that's why they found themselves in the burning principality and can't even like and don't understand how they led themselves there because they thought that they were defeating the principality even though they were building it. That's some real fuckery. I'm so happy I'm a Virgo because we don't get involved in nonsense. That's what I'm gonna call it, nonsense. So anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much. There's a lot of great things happening. Atlanta, Georgia. I think it's so synchronistic how all this like played out with Future and everyone else and what's going to be happening in the near future and all the other stuff. And yes, he does know Future. And Future, you need to go. If you guys were affected by him or know, have access to Future, you guys need to talk to him about this bullshit and also get information from him about because what ended up happening was Sevan Bomar was hired by the California Endowment and shit like that to play with me with spell work and do this and do that. And that's how everyone got set up in the rap game and in the hood because what ended up happening was he was playing with spy magic and starting shit, putting it on Future, putting on a bunch of other people to get evidence for the endowment so they can use, instead of focusing on us and how we were paying for ritual sacrifice and chasing after Daisy and Leon, focus on all the different rappers. And that's why people are going to be using this because the endowment hired them. So that was like the other part of that. And this was all with Stephanie, all Brandy, all the different tarot readers. They were all wrapped up in that. They hired a lot of practitioners, but they all got exposed for rituals and doing a bunch of shit. It all had to happen. Because a lot of them got put on this list where they can't rent certain apartments, they can't get food stamps or certain benefits, they can't even get they can't work around kids. That's a big one right now. A lot of those karmics that played this one international, a lot of those karmics that played cannot work with kids. There's like a certain form at the Department of Justice and it's in every state. They're finding out they're on those lists. They have restraining orders from certain places. They can't work for the government. They can't get student loan relief programs. None of that. Not even financial aid because they play games. Yeah. Yes. So that was like the thing that had to come out regarding the spell work and regarding how he's involved in all that bullshit and how people are getting charges and all that stuff. And Drake was playing with them. And that's where that whole Treacherous Twin song came from and all this other bullshit that he got started in Atlanta and all this other nonsense he got started with playing games, going back and forth in people's hood and telling them people using spy magic or French Montana that you guys all know about. And I know, right, Brooklyn and Brooklyn, Bronx, Canarsie, you guys want a hood transmission too because a lot of shit has gotten started. It's Kim because she was one of the practitioners, and you guys know that her sister used to fuck with ASAP Ferg, right? And he's fucking on Robin, and Robin had to get her abortion from him, and she's starting a hell of shit playing behind the scenes with Drake and French Montana to set up Rocky because he doesn't want to play with her. You guys saw Rocky's new video with that clone. It's a bunch of shit going on, right? And Sevan Bomar was involved in all that cloning nonsense. He thought he was like a guru and and starting a bunch of bullshit. Right, because they have people playing on the computer, targeting people like, oh, just sit here all day and make sure that they're staying in the dream machine and make sure that they're like confused or make sure you keep on playing with this spell work. That's what they were doing and getting paid for. It's like a call center for drama. And they're all here playing spiritual. Good luck with that bullshit because I'm telling you, you're going to get so exposed. And people know that there's work around my work, around this. It's not just my work, it's the high priestess. But I went through chaos and trials and tribulations and all kinds of stuff. And then they tasked me with downloading the work. And then you try to create situations or come at me in a certain way to play with that work. And you're not even ordained to do it. And you started a bunch of bullshit and drama and you're so disrespectful. And you really defiled your daughter like that and try to play with me like that. I was like on my period. This type of magic that they play with, it's called like body, right? I was on my period and people can like feel my cramps, even men, because of this magic that they were playing with. I would like to smell things or taste things that people can taste and smell it too. This magic that they played with. Yeah. I was taking a shower and people can like see me showering because they opened some portal like around my head with spell work and he was involved in all this bullshit. Because it was just witches ordaining it in space that play games with these white aliens on planet Earth. That's why this whole SpaceX and NASA, they ain't leaving the planet. They ain't going anywhere. They're banned. You're leaving, you're not coming back. That's the whole thing now because they're illegal aliens. You can't come to this planet and create your army. You can't do that other places. So why here? Go look at what the United Nations is passing and the Space Force and Space Act and all this other bullshit and Department of Defense is done. That's over. So that's all I have to say, you guys. That was like the missing link with that nonsense. And the endowment is caught up right now because it came out that a lot of this hood drama that they were like playing, starting and sponsoring has led to other hood drama and people were getting killed and their organs trafficked because that's a big racket with the politicians. He was playing with that too. Another thing that ended up happening was women went missing because of this bullshit that they started because they were like kidnapping sex workers and stuff like that. And they were, from what I'm picking up on and what I've confirmed, is they kidnapped the sister of some kingpin in Oakland, and she is missing. And it was the endowment staff member, the one with the deep sea diving and all those bodies that are not popping up, that did it. And Sevan Bomar was involved in putting magic on all the investigators and doing all this other bullshit and all while they collect evidence on the hood and start shit and use spy magic on them and tracking tools and all the other bullshit. And he's a bunch of drama. He's supposedly from Detroit. He said he knows Aaliyah. She don't fuck with him. She don't know him because they're all here telling their stories too, just from the industry. He knows Jay-Z, all of them. They're all messy. That's all I have to say about this nonsense. You guys have a great day. I have work to do. Bye.